Well, hello everyone. This is CB Smallwood, and you're watching Mental Junk Food, the place where we talk about all things comics, sci-fi, horror, fantasy, pop culture, and everything in between. And today, we're going to be talking about DC Comics All In Special. I'll hopefully try to go through this fairly quickly, and I guess for spoiler and copyright reasons, I'm not going to flip, or I'm going to try to avoid flipping through. All the pages in this book, just enough to kind of give you an idea of what it's about, what I think about it. And the first thing is, look at this beautiful DC Comics bullet logo, or whatever you want to call it. I miss this. You know, if you grew up in the 80s, this was a staple or a iconic logo. There we go, iconic logo for DC Comics. You know, I remember it from the 80s and the 90s, and, ever so often companies like to change things up. Otherwise, they kind of grow stale, and stale is death. It is ultimate death. And so they decided to change things up with new logos. But I am so glad that it seems like they're going back to the old ways, okay? The All In. What's the deal with this All In? Honestly, I don't know too much. I've always been a Marvel guy, somewhat of a DC guy, and I've decided just to kind of give DC a chance here lately, because I miss reading Western comics. So as I get back into it, maybe you will too. Who knows? Or maybe you're already into it. So this is All In. This is supposed to be a lead in to the new line of comics, Absolute. The Absolute Comics, Absolute Batman, Absolute Superman, Absolute Wonder Woman, Absolute somebody else. Probably, who knows? I don't know. there's going to be a few more. And it's basically like their version of like how Marvel did the Ultimate Universe, the Ultimate X-Men, so forth and so on. Same kind of concept. Except for this is a little bit Ultimates meets Age of Apocalypse, and we'll get into that as we go along. So this book, which is a lead into the Absolute Universe, is divided into two. The first one is Alpha, and then the second part of the book is Omega. It's about 55 pages long, give or take. This first part is written by Joshua Williamson and Scott Snyder, and it's drawn by Daniel Sampier. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. There's the Absolute Batman, and this has been kind of a controversial figure in comics here lately. Most of the comments I hear talking about this character has been pretty negative, but the way I look at it is you got regular Batman, right? And you've got like 1,000 different spin-offs of Batman and all this other stuff. And to me, this doesn't really hurt Batman whatsoever, in my opinion. I don't really understand fully the cape concept, but other than they're trying to use it as a weapon or something. And it's not the most ideal aesthetic or visual for Batman. But this is not supposed to be the Batman that we all know and love. This is a whole new creature. And I think that's kind of the idea behind it. So I'm kind of curious, how Absolute Batman is going to be when it comes out, And I look forward to reading it and maybe reviewing it if you want to see me do that. All right, so right off the bat, 52 days later, which is, if you remember, DC had a popular initiative, the 52, the new 52. I think that's what it was called. And basically, they wanted to create a jumping on point for new fans. People like me that were Marvel zombies that just bought everything Marvel made because at one point it was that good. But the new 52 initiative had its pluses and minuses. The Batman stuff was great that was coming out with the new 52. I enjoyed the first 6 to 10 issues of Hawkman. I thought that was pretty cool. there was some other stuff too. Green Lantern, and I'm missing a whole bunch of other things, but it was pretty cool. I enjoyed the New 52, but then there's one thing that they did where they kind of destroyed this long line of continuity, and hardcore DC fans is like, hey, we kind of we love the long line continuity. We need to kind of bring that back, and they did. I forgot what that was called, but anyway, so I like this little homage, I guess. And so basically what we see here is all the heroes are getting together, and they decided to make a member card, or something like that, for the Justice League. You get a membership card, and this thing is got all the latest technologies from all the different smart people of the DC universe, and even using magical elements to attach to these cards. And so everybody is getting these magical cards, like everybody and their mother. If you have superpowers or you're a superhero of some sort, you're getting a Justice League card. They're just giving them to everybody. And fast forward to Booster Gold here, and I actually learned for the first time that Booster Gold is a time traveler. Did you know that? That he's from the future, and he had time traveled to the past, which is our present. Because he just wanted a new life for himself. He wanted to shake things up, and there you go. And so we get a bit of a backstory about it. And Superman wanted to give this membership card to Booster Gold himself because he feels like, he's the real deal. He's finally, he's been this character that has kind of fallen short on a few things as far as heroics. And Superman sees that he's come a long way, and he wanted to kind of, as a really good gesture, instead of having the membership card pop up magically, he wanted to give it to him personally. So that's a nice touch. I like that. And then we get a kind of like a flashback or a flash forward to Booster Gold when he was living in the future, and he fell on hard times, and he basically was got a job, I think, working at a museum, the Hall of Heroes. And at the museum, there's the card that they had created. That was the card was an artifact from a great moment in the heroic history, a time for unity and peace. It's when everybody came together to support each other. And so we get all the heroes coming together as they're invited to get their membership cards and to join this new big floating space station for Justice Leaguers. And this is interesting right here. The head of security is the Question. The Question was this character that was created by Spider-Man artist, Spider-Man co-creator Steve Ditko. And here, unless I'm mistaken, it appears that the Question is being rendered as a woman when originally it was a man. So I'm kind of curious about that. But I like the fact that they're doing something with the character, It's just, it became one of these throwaway characters in modern times. I mean, even in the 90s, I guess. I could be wrong about that. But yeah, I'm glad to see the Question, even though I have questions. So we got this big opening shot of all the heroes gathered together. We got some that's flying up in the air for whatever reason. I guess that's probably as an artistic choice to kind of fill up the page. If you sit and think about it, it's like, why would they be flying above everybody's heads unless they can't see and they kind of want to see what's going on? I don't know. It's interesting. So we're getting this speech about the cards. What's the deal with the cards? And I guess they feel like maybe threats are getting bigger for the Justice League, and they want to bring everybody together. And the unique thing about the cards is the cards will pair you up with other superheroes that complement your powers, which I thought was really cool. That's a really cool concept. So, I don't know. Maybe people that can control elements, like water and stuff, could be paired up with Aquaman, and so they could actually enhance one another's powers or something. So that's interesting. That's an interesting concept. Then bam, out of nowhere, we're getting this electrical, sound effect going on. A red alert, I guess, thing with the screens. And there's, I guess, roughly about half the team of the Justice League. They got glowing eyes and something's happening. And also, everybody's talking in reverse. I don't know if... I'm leaning toward that's supposed to be part of the comic book, It comes across as like it's almost like a misprint. But, like I said, I'm mostly a Marvel guy, so if I'm not hip to your DC ways, forgive me. So we fast forward, and we're seeing all these glimpses of things to come, or things that was. And Chaka-boom, it's Darkseid, and kind of reminds me, the way that he's rendered here reminds me of a Marvel villain. I don't know if he's called the Reaper. He's like an Avengers villain. It doesn't matter. Anyway, now he's got a this pimping axe hand, got a cape going on. So naturally, all the heroes come together to fight him. Everything seems to be going well. And then Darkseid says, "Thank you." Darkseid ends. And what happened? We get a rip and tear in space. It seems like he's dead, maybe. And there's a lot of implications about this. A lot of big world things that are happening. And so we got to kind of figure that out. And so, they're coming up with a plan on what's going on. And it involves multiple realities. Let me pause this video. All right, sorry about that. I had a cat, my cat Kathy. I had to pause the video for a second. Of course, for you it was just a mere second, but for me it was like a minute. She just came through the door, just abruptly crashed it open. The sound of the TV in the other room is bleeding into the microphone, so I had to deal with that crisis. Anyway, Booster Gold walks in, and they need somebody that has a little bit of tachyon particles or something like that in order to travel to another dimension, because this involves like dimensional travel, multiverse type of stuff. And there's a new world that's been created, and now it's like fully formed. And they gotta find Darkseid, because they believe he's not truly dead, and he's important to the universe, or this particular world in the multiverse, and they gotta find him. They gotta find him and see what he's up to. And so Booster Gold shows up, and there's the the Omega symbol. The symbol of Darkseid, I believe, and kind of looks like a scene out of Back to the Future 2, where Biff, basically turns Hill Valley into like the Las Vegas Strip, mixed with a little bit of Detroit from the 80s and now. And boom, we get a lot of stuff going on here. He's being attacked. Meanwhile, we're getting this dialogue about the Justice League, because they lost contact with Booster Gold, and they're like, well, should we try to bring it back now, or should we just go over ourselves or something? And then we get this nice splash page here of a gigantic Darkseid or whatever. And then we get his version of Legion of Superheroes, Legion of something. And then this is the second part. Now, we're not going to go all through this. I may go through just like one or maybe 2 pages, This is the Omega part. And let me go back. Can I go back, please? Hit the back arrow. This was drawn by Wes Craig, and story by Scott Snyder and Joshua Williamson. good. Art by George Jimenez. So I like this artist. It's very, I mean, I like the artist prior. I thought he did a really good job. I guess what I like about this artist on this particular thing is it's very, very flavorful. Got a lot of flavor to that style, you know. And the way this person draws is, it reminds me of like somebody you knew in high school that was extremely talented, you know, and maybe they didn't have everything exactly down as far as like anatomy or stuff like that, but it didn't matter because their art was just so gorgeous to look at. It's, you know, yeah, that's the way I would put it. Now, I'm not going to get too much into this because, like I said, copyright and spoiler reasons. But he chops off his hand. He's made this machine. It's like of technology, past, present, and future, and also of magic. Because he needs to answer a question, okay? And I'm not going to get what the question is, but he has to have the answer to this question. It's very important, you know? He's having like this existential crisis or something going on, and he's got to solve it. There's something that pops up later, though, where... gotta see. Right here. He had cut his own hand off to make this machine work, but the artist forgot to draw just one hand pulling this chain. You know, and I feel like editors from like the 80s and 90s would have caught that and been like, oh wow, you need to redraw this panel, you know. It's kind of like a big deal. But then, whoops, right there, he remembers to draw the axe hand later. So anyway, that's all I'm going to show you. I showed you quite a bit. I enjoyed this comic book. I thought it was pretty good, you know. There's no nutty wonky me do stuff from, you know, being forced into this comic book. It's just a pure comic book. It's a fun read. It feels like the Absolute Universe is going to be a mix between like how Marvel did Age of Apocalypse and the Ultimates, because the Absolute Universe is basically revolves around, you know, this character right here where everything is taken to the extreme. And if you know, in order for heroes to rise to the challenge, they have to take it to the extreme. They got to be, you know, even more hardcore than before, you know, because they're not going to be given any advantages. Everything's going to be stacked against them. So in order to be a hero, you truly have to rise to the occasion. And so I like that, you know. I mean, when I make my own comics, that's kind of what I shoot for, you know. And so basically, the Absolute Universe is doing something that I'm trying to do on my own with my own independent creations. So anyway, that's my review. I recommend that you get that issue, the all-in special or whatever. I guess it's a tie-in thing for the Absolute stuff that's coming up here soon. And I'll try to read and review those. I hope you enjoyed this very quick review. Maybe got you interested in it. And listen, I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, comment. Let me know if I missed anything in this review. If you like this, didn't like it, let me know, because I truly am curious. As always, this is CB Smallwood reminding you, I will see you in the next video.